if it's not. Hello, hello. Uh-oh. Hello, hello. And please don't tell me it's dark. I know it's dark. If you come in, share if you care, like, and comment. Don't be scared to say hey. Anyways, I just, off and on, I'm reminded when I'm like, dang it, I mean, okay, so question, do you ever have those moments that it's like you wish that you would have listened when somebody was giving you free wisdom? So, um, you know, if you know my story, oh, all of a sudden I get on live and now my allergies feel like they're acting up. Feels like itchy, itchy. But have you ever felt that way that you look back on things? I don't know if you guys do this, but I overthink a lot. And I think about conversations that I've had 10 years ago, 30 years ago, and I'm like, wow, so that's what that meant. Or that's what that's supposed to mean. And I took it the other way, or whatever. Like, I analyze myself a lot. And I feel like because I'm so stubborn, sometimes that's the best way I learn is by kind of re-listening and rethinking about some of those conversations. So for example, like if you guys been here before, the earlier times when I was telling my story, and I'm gonna get back to it. I know I've said that a few times. My energy goes up and down. I've been through a couple of things, like, between my birthday, my mom's uh, anniversary, heavenly birthday, I guess it's called, and also my ex-husband. And it's hard, like, that's the hardest one because, like, nobody will make me feel weird about missing my mom, even if it's 50 years later. It's been 16. But the ex-husband thing, it's weird because if you're dating, your partner can feel like, well, why do you miss him? Why are you crying over him? Why, like, that's your ex. He treated you da 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 da. Yeah, we had a lot of we had a lot of good times, and there was some things that we both did that, you know weren't the best. We're both Libra, so once we get in our heads and we think that the other person is doing something, then we try to stay ahead of it. And I don't see it as playing games. Hi, 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 goat milk. It's okay. It's okay. It's not sad. No, I was just explaining, like, there's just been a lot. So, like, my energy was all over the place. I was really intending to, like, since I was on a high for my birthday, I was going to get back to the videos, telling the stories, this and that. But, um, anyway, so, yeah. But, I will try to do better. Friday nights and Saturdays are probably going to be my aim, probably around anything from 5 to 7. I will try to post in the community tab, like, um, somebody must, um, okay, so I got some trolls, I guess. Let's see. Anyway, so what I was saying was, I'm gonna stop reading. Let me see if I can put the comments down. Uh, okay, I'm gonna leave the comments there so that way I don't get distracted. But yeah, I was just thinking about things that I've heard. Like, I've always attracted older females. Not like that. Don't take it like that. But just like, I don't know if I have an old soul. I haven't been told that, but I just been told I'm a good listener, um, and a good talker now. But when I was younger, I was definitely a good listener. I don't remember giving much advice, but sometimes people just need somebody to listen to. So I received some wisdom through them, and you know, but the things that I wanted to focus on, that I just been the past maybe 5 years, I just been like, I wish I would have listened to them. So I'll start with the first one that always pops in my head. My first boyfriend in Seattle, that is, he I'll say he's basically. I only say my first boyfriend in Seattle is because I had crushes and stuff before I moved to Seattle. Before high school, I had crushes. I never had a boyfriend, so before him, but I did have a punk take my virginity. So that's why I always say my first boyfriend in Seattle, because unfortunately, I wasn't all the way pure, clean, whatever people want to say. But yeah, he used to like have ginger candy and suck on ginger roots, and I was like, what are you doing that for? What is that? And I used to smell it. Like, if you get close enough, you give somebody a hug or whatever. Of course, when I kissed him, and it's like, why do you like that stuff so much? He's like, it's good for you, and this, and he, I'm sure he tried to explain like all the health benefits, but I'm so stubborn that I'm just like, everybody's weird. If I don't know it, it takes me a while to get used to a new thing, and especially if the taste is different than what I'm used to. So, but now I'm like, if I would have listened to him, I probably wouldn't have arthritis right now. I probably wouldn't have inflammation issues and all that stuff. So now I don't chew ginger, but I love ginger candy from Trader Joe's. They have the best one because they have the sugar coated. I don't think he used to get the sugar coated one. I think I tried one and I was like, it's spicy too. So it's like, but the one from Trader Joe's, I guess because they have it covered in sugar, it's not as hot. Or I just cut it up in smaller pieces or something. Do ginger tea, try to do the golden milk, which has turmeric, ginger, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That really helps you fall asleep. Like, I was just telling my aunt, I have 4 nights that 2 nights out of the 4 nights I was up all night, and then when my son gets up at 6 to go to school and all that, I was already up. Like, I'm like, oh, you need me to fix you something? He's like, you don't fix me stuff to, I'm okay. Like, and anyway, so that's one thing with the first thing. And then, like, most of it is access. Like, even though they might have thought I wasn't listening, I was listening. I was paying attention. I was just being a brat. I mean, when Daddy is trying to tell me about ginger, I just moved from New York, I went from everything being Dominican, Spanish, my family, to the Bronx, black and Puerto Ricans, which they don't like Dominicans, so it's like, it's just, so I was just trying to find myself to coming all the way to the West Coast and just having a, a culture shock because Seattle is very weird when you first get here. Like, if you're not from here, especially if you're a kid, it's weird. Like, people are weird, they're strange. Um, they almost seem mean, like when you walk down the street. But luckily, I was going into high school, so I made friends and this and that. Anyway, so that was the first boyfriend. And I went from that to the second boyfriend, which was the one that ended up infecting me with HIV and AIDS. And I learned from him, not that he purposely taught me this, but I learned from that experience was ask for proof. He said he was 25 and I was only 18 at that time. He said he was 25. That sounded way too old for me. But I was like, well, we had fun over the phone for a few months, whatever, whatever. What's the harm in meeting for coffee? And just like a charmer, they charm you, make you feel like you, whatever. I don't remember if I was living in a shelter by that time because my foster parents kicked me out. So I was living in a shelter, but I'm not sure if I was getting kicked out or if I chose to move in with him. I think I was getting kicked out. So of course, like 6 months in of us talking, he was like, "Oh, you can just come here. It's fine. I mean, aren't you wanting to get married eventually and all that stuff? So that way we can test out if we could even live together." So me like, like Dopey from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm very gullible, very green. I trusted people's words more than what I needed to. And so not even a month into living with him, I found his ID, looked it up, of course, added the numbers, found out he was actually 37 instead of 25, which that's a perv, to be honest. I mean, I'm like 40, I just turned 45. There's no way I could be with a 25-year-old or a younger person. Like, what am I going to do with them? Like, there's nothing, like, we're not going to connect in no sense. I mean, unless I wanted a toy. But, so yeah, I definitely learned my lesson with him as far as, I thought I did, as far as like, ask a lot of questions. It's okay to ask for proof. And if you have a gut feeling, follow it. Now, unfortunately, I kept ignoring my gut feeling, but I did learn, like, okay, the world is not so honest. Like, I'm very straight out. So I just figure that anybody that I talk to would be too. Like, there's no reason. I don't judge people. I don't, but I hate lies. Even if it's like a soft lie or a white lie, just don't lie to me. Like, then I could never, I really tried. Like, even my last relationship, I I thought I could get over a lie, how we started, and it just kept coming up in my head, like, do. It just would not let me be happy with the person because he lied to me before we met. So, yeah. But either way, so yeah, I learned that, there was certain questions that I asked, and I wasn't scared. I'm never scared to ask the questions. So my gut feeling is good. It's just my heart overpowers, you know, that. And then I've also learned, like with Jafar, he taught me that I was worth it. Um, and I know this is not a lot to a lot of people that grew up like this, but to me it was a big deal. Like, the one thing he did that shocked me was, like, he actually got me the flowers that I liked. Everybody else just gets the quick, easy red roses or flowers from the store or whatever. And at that time, he got it in the color that I liked, and I could tell he has such a good heart. And I felt horrible because I knew my mind and my heart was somewhere else. And I knew at that time I was hurt from other people, so I wasn't giving him my whole heart. Like, so when another, when I just got back with my ex, because I did get overwhelmed when he was just so loving, and I'm just like, it can't be this good. And I almost got scared because I was like, if I get comfortable in this and this is so good, then I might get bored. What if it's not and he's playing me? And then at least with the other one, I know his games and I can predict when the games are coming and stay ahead of it or not care. With this guy, I can't tell. Like, I couldn't tell. And with, um, Mr. G, if you heard my story, you heard about him. He taught me how to write a checkbook. I didn't know how to balance a check. I didn't know how to do a budget. I didn't know, I didn't even know how to write a check. Like, I didn't know where the signatures went, what was the other line for. And he didn't make me feel stupid about it. He was just like, oh, you don't know? Okay, well, this is what you do. You sign here, you write what you are paying for here, and and you write out the amount. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I loved writing checks after that, you know. And I was, by that time I was already like, yeah, I was around, that was before I met the guy that, or after I met the guy with, that infected me, and I didn't know. So I was probably 19 now, but by that time, 19, 20, something like that. And, and he taught me that, you could play hard. I mean, you could work hard and play even harder. And he actually tried to show me what a real man is supposed to do. Like, he took care of all the bills. I didn't have to worry about rent. I mean, of course, my thing was food, because I was like, I'm not gonna, like, if I want to spend $300 every week on food, if I want to blow my check and go to Florida, so, or go somewhere, then that's what I did. And we both had good jobs at the time, so we were good. But it felt good. I knew when we went out to eat, I didn't have to worry about the check. I didn't have to even think like, oh, is he gonna ask me to pay? Like, simple things like that that some girls just be like, well, yeah, that's the basics. But some girls, that means a lot because believe me, there's a lot of situations that I'm the one that has to pay for everything. I'm the one that has to make sure things are good. And, you know, like, it's hard to find a man to fit into that man role. Like, I'll take care of you type of thing. So I learned that from him. Now with the other ones, obviously we were young or whatever, or we had our own places or situations, so it's different with every person. But these are things that I'll always be so grateful. And this is not an ex, but this is a ex-friend, I guess. With Kathy, she taught me, um, it's weird because like we were going to the same church and just out of nowhere one day she's just like, look, if I don't know if you feel comfortable, if you think it's weird, but if you ever need anything, let me know, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, well, I just moved to the other side of the city, and I need help getting my son to and from school because I got really sick last time and there's no bus for him and blah blah. And she was like, oh yeah, I could help. And she ended up becoming one of my good friends for a long time. And if it wasn't for situations that happened with one of her sons, we would still be really good friends. But unfortunately, you know, and I miss her so much. Like, I really miss her. But she became kind of like my go-to person. And, when my kids got sick, even though I know a lot and I post a lot, I have a couple of groups on Facebook to like do it yourself, trying to teach people about natural path stuff, home remedies, and you don't have to run to a pill or the doctor for everything. Like, there's stuff that you can do at home that's healthier for you, better for your body. And she understood me in a lot of ways that a lot of people don't, like spiritually, and even like with spirit. She wasn't freaked out when I told her about me being able to see spirit sometimes, and um, my experiences with that before. And yeah, so I learned a lot. It's like so much that I learned from her. It's hard to name just one thing. The main thing with her was I loved her heart. Like, she truly is a woman of God. And it's hard to find that. Like, a lot of people claim that women of God or people of God, but it's hard to find people that really walk it. Like, she truly walks that life. And I hope one day I'm able to be like her in that sense. Like, she's a great mom, wonderful wife, and so really good example. Another lady that really taught me, well, a family that taught me really good values, and like the love of God's family was, you know, in Florida, Godfrey and Sharon. Sharon became like my sister slash auntie slash whatever. And then Godfrey really took my boys under his wings, teaching them, I forgot what they teach, but it's some kind of karate, taekwondo type of thing. And, if I needed a break from my kids, eventually, once we got to know each other, I used to have them over for like, once I realized, okay, not everybody has a lot of family around. So I started doing like potlucks in Florida. And then I just kind of narrowed down to them and us because, you know, it just gets to be too much to have a lot of people in your house all the time. Even if you do potluck, like people will bring chips or drinks. It's like, oh, we need food. But no, I loved it. Like if I had the money, that's what I would. I try to do it here too, but it worked when I was close to downtown. I had a couple of friends that would show up for Friendsgiving and all that stuff. I wouldn't even do it around those days because I know people might have family, but they still might want to do like a Friendsgiving. So I would do like 2 weeks earlier or 2 weeks later or in between the holidays. But in Florida, I tried to do it on those that weekend, whatever. But yeah, just some amazing people. And she believed in natural healing too and vitamins and minerals. So, of course, between what we went through in 2020, I definitely was clinging to Sharon and Kathy, asking them all sorts of advice, what to do with this, what to do with that, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because I post so much that I'm sure they could have easily said, well, you probably posted it in the do-it-yourself group before. But it's weird when your kids are in need. It doesn't matter how much like it all kind of goes out the window. Like you just need a mom type. Since I don't have my mom or my stepmom or my foster mom to call like that. So I just call God always places like motherly, sisterly, auntie like women in my life. He knew I always needed that around. And from my oldest, his dad, he was always telling me, where walk barefoot. He wa- he was always trying to tell me about the trees and this and that. Like he wasn't like a hippie type, like hug the tree, but yeah, kinda. And I used to think like, okay, he's weird, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested because it just kept my interest. Like you're weird, but okay, let's find out where this goes. And he probably thought I was strange too. That's probably what kept him entertained too. Like I said, we both Libra. Like my ex-husband, same Libra. So if we weren't a little crazy, we both would have got bored with each other. Um, so yeah, he taught me a lot about natural things, and I wasn't hearing him. I was listening, but I wasn't hearing him. Now, when I find these things out, I'm like, "Doy, Monty tried to tell me that. Monty tried to tell me this. He tried to tell me that. Why didn't I listen? Da da da." Same reason. I was just being stuck in my ways, thinking I knew it all. And, but I was listening. I am grateful because now when I do learn something like that or I relearn something like that, it doesn't take long for me to believe it or just accept it like, oh yeah, I've heard this before, da 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 da, and take heed to it this time around. I just, I try to tell people that are younger to start doing more for their bodies now because if I would have listened to people in my 20s and 30s as far as like health stuff, Ooh, who knows where I would be now with my health and strength and all that stuff. But it's never too late. It's never too late. So but I just wanted to share some of their wisdom that they share with me. Like, you know, I I know that with the son of my little one, he talked a lot. He was a Gemini. Talked a lot. More than me, believe it or not. But so I did learn some stuff from him. You know, I wasn't aware of the street life. Even though I come from New York, in New York, like I feel like back then, I don't know about now. Back then, people in the neighborhood know you. So they know who you are, what's your name, where you live, who's your parents, your foster parents, whatever. So if you're not into weed smoking, if you're not dealing, if you're not buying, they don't bother you. You don't, well, at least I didn't hear about it. You might see some stuff on the floor, but you don't hear about it. And not, like I said, I was always naive and I liked it that way as far as the drug thing when I was little. So I didn't want to know. But here in Washington, nobody respects. They're like, I don't think there's a code. Like there's no street code. So there is no respect to elders and kids. So if they want to just do you in, steal your identity, they don't care who you are, how nice you like. There is no code. Like they just do. So meeting my my little ones, his dad, and hearing about his family was like, whoa, this is real. Like, I used to wonder why her cousin, one of his cousins, when I went to her house, if she ever left the house, even if she was just going down to the car to get something out of the car, she had a lock on her door. And I was like, why she got a lock? It's just me and her cousin and then her kid. Like, why she got a lock on her door? Or when we went out clubbing, she would lock the door just in case anybody came visit, and her kid was there. Her kid was like, so I was like, what if he needs to get something from your room? No, he got everything. He got the rest of the house. He don't need to go in my. And I never understood why she did that until my identity got stolen. I was like, oh, she knew who she was dealing with. Her cousin is grimy like that, and the family is grimy like that too. So she probably learned that from having somebody else, seeing somebody else go through that, and having their identity stolen. So that was a big, eye opener. Like, wow, people are really, like, they could smile in your face. And now saying this, as much crime TV as I watch, Murder She Wrote, this and that, best worst roommate, all these shows that are coming up, and it's like, oh, why is this so, why am I watching this at night before going to bed? I don't want this stuff in my head. But I watch all this stuff now, but before I learned that it's just around, it's just everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter how much a person says they care about you, they love you. There is no protection, there is no code, there is no nothing, no morals, no nothing. And you don't have to be in the street to get caught up by the streets. And so I learned that, and that was a hard lesson to learn. And and unfortunately, because of him, I lost a few people. They thought that I was getting them caught up. I noticed a few years after we broke up, I talked to a few people that we visit as couple, and he did this trick both times. So I should have known. Like, oh, can I go to the bathroom? And I guess he used that time to go through the rooms or go through files, if because normal people don't have stuff locked up if they if they just have visitors, they trusted me, so they figure anybody I was with, they should be able to trust them. And they had a bathroom downstairs, but he's like, no, can I please? So I was like, oh, maybe he gotta go number two. But no, that was just an excuse. Then he did that at my foster parents one time. The one time I let them meet him, it's like, oh, can I use the bathroom? And of course, the office was right by the bathroom. And all of a sudden, we're all like, what's going on? Where's so and so? I was like, yeah, you've been gone a long time. All of a sudden, then, you hear him come out. And both times, the people said that something had happened to a card, a credit card. My foster parents said that something happened to their identity, and actually, like, they were collecting change in a big yard or big container that was stolen. So somehow, I feel like he came back with some of his dirty people and broke into the house when they weren't home. And now I don't know how he would know when they're not home. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And maybe I said something like, oh yeah, they're going on vacation, or because I never expected, you know, somebody that I was with that I took to their house and they trust me to do that to them. And I feel stupid when I figure it out like a few years later. Um, so yeah, that was definitely a really hard lesson to learn. Now I stop people at the door and I trust the people that come see me now. But for one, I don't want to get close to too many people because once they get in your business, people gossip or they take pity on you or they look at how you living and maybe it's not up to their standard because they got houses, they got, 2, 3 cars, whatever. So it's a mixture between feeling embarrassed because how I was doing when my kids were small and how I'm living now, it's like a total opposite. Like, of course, my kids got bigger, so they don't share a room, and so we're all kind of cramped in. And the apartment seemed a lot bigger before, not just because there was two of us instead of three, or my kids were smaller, not just because of that, but the areas that I'm living in now, the apartments are super small. So I'm just like the next place I get, I'm hoping to be a house or a townhouse or even a fourplex, duplex, whatever. But it definitely has to be way bigger than what we have now. Um, if you know us, you know my big boy is big. He's super tall. So he definitely needs more room just all by himself, let alone. And then my little one is taller than me now, so he makes fun of me every time. But yeah, and then with my ex, with James, he taught me how to smile more. Like when I met him, I was coming off a really bad time. I was in a hospice. They were wanting to keep me. I was in a walker. Well, first, when I went in, I couldn't walk, so they had me in a wheelchair for a few weeks. Then I was doing walking therapy. I couldn't talk for the first week or two that I got there because I was coughing so much. This was before COVID, but I think I did have COVID. It was August 19. I was sick all summer. Um, Maybe it started in May, but I really noticed after I put my little one on a plane, I sent him to his dad in Florida This is my ex-husband. He kind of adopted my little one, so that became his father because the dad, whatever, disappeared. Um, but yeah, I think once I put my little one on a plane and my body knew I could rest, that's when it decided to crash. Like, because it's weird how you can mentally push yourself to do so much and to push beyond your boundaries or your limits. Like, the mind is a real powerful thing. Unless you're not breathing or you're like down, like I was for a little bit, where you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you can almost make yourself. I mean, I guess I did it because I I I thought I was gonna need 6 months of that place. It was the hospice, and they were like, well, they didn't want to tell me. Well, people check in. They usually don't check out. And I was like, oh heck no, I got kids to raise. I gotta get out of here. So um, they were like, oh, you gotta use the strap. They wanted me to like strap me in to pull me up and walk. It's like, no, 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 I'll hold on to the rail. So I kept pushing myself, and trying to eat healthier because they gave you a lot of fried foods, and the salads was this small, but the chickens were like almost took out the whole plate, and it was fried food. This time when I went in for the 1 month thing, I noticed the menu was they had a lot more healthy choices. So maybe I made an impact. I don't know. I just know wherever I go, I cause a ruckus, and I try to make changes in a positive way. But because I'm so abrupt and like straightforward, people get pissed. They get mad when they see me again because they're like, oh, there she goes. Oh, she's gonna give me a headache. But hey, I move things. I make things happen. I cause people to change rules. So I'll be that bee. I'll be that bee for to better people's lives and to better my kids' lives. I'll be that bee. It's okay. But yeah, so he definitely was like a ray of sunshine. When I met him, I was so motivated to get better. I was already home by that time. And, for a minute I was thinking, oh, I don't need to flirt. I don't need to talk to nobody. Like, um, I just need to kind of give up. Like, basically, just focus on my kids and basically turn into an old lady and go. And he gave me hope. Like, James really taught me how to think positive and move positive. Like, he motivated me to lose almost 150 pounds in the 2, 3 years we were together. Um, a lot of it was water weight or like whatever because I didn't realize I was dealing with thyroid issue. I knew something was up because I felt weird all over. I felt bloated. I didn't feel fat. The weird thing is now I feel fat, but I didn't feel fat. I felt bloated. I was like, this is something. So with him motivating me and not even pushing me like, oh, you should tell the doctors. No, he just softly was kind of behind me, just encouraging me and pushing me and just being that light that I needed at that time. And I'll forever be grateful. Like I said, most of the time with anybody in life that you deal with, you might go through something. It might turn out to be, somebody that wasn't your husband or wasn't your wife. But when you really think about what did I learn from this person, what's one good thing that I sometimes you can find more than one thing. And when I look back, I definitely know that I could find more than one thing with almost anybody that I meet that sticks around for a while. Um, so yeah, and even my sister Jareli, like I am just impressed and so amazed by her. This girl, she went to college when a lot of our families, you know, older age or whatever, couldn't, wouldn't. She she has her degree, she has her businesses. She's like always motivated to get it on her own, and she's a force. She's a force to be reckoned with, and it's just like I'm an older sister. I'm the older sister, but I was just so amazed. Like I used to sit back and watch her, and not watch her because she's not in front of me. She lives on the other side, but even hearing her speak and how proper she is, and it's like, wow, this is what it looks like when people are successful. And they said, Michael Jordan, I came from the hood. Like, you have to pick yourself up. You're the only one that can push yourself. This is what it looks like. Like, I used to look at her and be like, that's what it looks like. You know, I push myself and pull myself up in different ways, but the way she does it, it's empowering. Like, you can't help it when you talk to her not to get inspired to get up off your ass. To like her and her little friend right before 2020, I think, or around 2020 maybe, they were working out online, and I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. I mean, after watching them for like a couple of months and pretending like I was doing the exercises too, I was like, man, okay, I don't have energy to do exercise. I don't have energy. I love swimming. But I knew if I had, if I went swimming and came back, I wouldn't have the energy to like swim laps like I used to, or I don't even swim laps. I mainly just go back and forth however I can. Like I do froggy butterfly mix. I do this and that. It is not professional, but I know I before I used to stay in there for an hour or two, going back and forth, playing around, or bobbing my head, just moving my body. And I knew at that time when I met James that I didn't have that energy. But between him and my sisters, both of them, like the little one, she's a go-getter too. She's a hustler. She's just more street with it, so she'll tend to do more street-like hustling than business or regular. Like I do, I'm like the resource master. I can like I used to get everything for my kids, camping trips for free, this and that, da 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 da. I'm the resource hustler. My little sister, she's kind of like the street hustler. And then my middle sister, she's a business hustler. So we all kind of hustle, it's just different, you know? And I think my little brother might be like two out of the three. And my sister in Spain and my brother in Spain, I don't know them like that, so I don't know. I know that they're both survivors, so that we're all go-getters, basically, bottom line. Um, but the little one, she's impressive too. It's just like, okay, she might be down 1 minute, the next minute she got $200 nails on. She got She's being flued out. She's doing video shoots. She's doing this and that. She got podcasts going on. She does a really good um, blog that she does, Chronicles. Sally's with Chronicles. Chronicles speak. Either way, maybe I'll look up her website and post it on my community tab. And man, she's so good at the writing and stuff. I wish I was that good and I could focus. And she's good with like laying it out. The pages look very engaging, very colorful, very pretty. She's pretty in pink like me, so she likes the girly. But there was some that's like diamonds and these golds, and I don't know. She just knew how to lay the pages out and the stories. Unfortunately, my dyslexia wouldn't let me sit there and read two paragraphs. Like I'm like, I don't know how she could do that. I used to try to highlight half of it and kind of get the gist of the story, so I could respond, encourage her on the way. Um, but yeah, like I'm definitely gonna try to shout out both of their businesses in the community tab when I get a hold of their names and stuff. So if you guys want to check it out, like my little middle sister is doing real estate, I think, and she still got her cash is queen and helping people learn financial literacy and all that stuff. She wrote a book. Like I'm like, dang, she did a lot. She's gonna be 35 on the 14th. Um, and you know, when I think about them, I get chills. Like I don't think that they'll ever know how much I fought to be in their lives and how much I loved them and still do. Um, Unfortunately, I'm on this side of the map and they're on the other side, but we try to see each other when we can. And then I have two nieces that seem to be amazing. Like, they're total opposite. I think my niece in Spain is shy. She seems very loving and my niece in the East Coast, she's very loving too. She's just really straightforward and she'll tell you how it is and what it is. And so it's very interesting to see like what we produce. My brother had his daughter, and then my little sister had her daughter, and I have my two kids, and it's like, wow, you know, the way we parent are very different, me and my sister, but the kids, they're amazing. Like, they're so smart. Um, so I learn a lot from just watching how people do things. But yeah, that's what I learned from James. It's just like he was, at first, it used to get on my nerves. Not that he was so positive, but that if I say, oh, like right now, I just said fat, he would be like, don't say you're fat. Just say, that's more for you to love. It's like, oh my God, I can't get one sentence out without you thinking I'm trying to be negative. Like, dang. So eventually he had to learn to dial it back. Like, I wasn't, sometimes it's not about being negative. Sometimes it is what it is. There's certain words that you have to say to describe or say something about something. But so we both had to kind of compromise on that. And then, there was Tony from Florida. I learned that, you know, when you think you are down and people might be looking down on you because you don't have what you think you need to have. Looking back, I was like, dang, I wish I could have what I had in Florida when I first got there. My little yellow house with a big backyard all to ourselves. And didn't have to worry about neighbors. I mean, the neighbors were cool. They had their own little house. They used to party. The ones next to me were a bunch of Mexican guys. The ones in front of me, I think it was a Puerto Rican family. The Mexicans, they love their weekends. So, but I didn't mind that because most of the time we were blasting music too, and like, I was singing and dancing. I used to have little parties with my boys. We used to turn off the lights, get flashlights, and like act like we were in the club. Play some music, some of their kids' favorite songs, and so we were still doing that when we were in Florida. So every Friday night we had a club. We had the club going on. But yeah, with Tony, I've learned like no matter how much you think you don't have, somebody will always look at you like you have it all. And because he felt like he wasn't good enough for me, he lied about what he did, where he lived, all this stuff. And I was just like, I just got this house. I was staying with my dad for a month or two, well, a month. And in a one bedroom. We had the room, me and my kids, but like, don't judge people by their covers. Like, it wasn't like I was balling out of control. Luckily, I had money saved up, so we were okay. But it was hard when we first got to Florida. Like, I didn't know how the schools were gonna be. It was all hard to get used to all that. But it was weird that he looked at me like I was looking at other people like, dang, I wish I had. At that time, I wasn't married yet. I wish I had a husband. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Oh, my furniture is not, I just got it donated. I was like, I want to get matching furniture. Well, I did have matching furniture, but I wanted to get like fancy furniture, adult furniture, like more matching, you know, because it was here and there, like stuff. The couches match, of course, the table, but I just always felt like I wasn't good enough. Um, so no matter how good my place was, I just always was like, oh, I don't want people judging me, da da da. But he was doing that to himself about me. And once we were able to talk it out and he finally told me the truth, by that time it was too late to date because I was like, not only did you not tell me one, you told me more than one lie. You told me like 3, 4 lies for no reason. Like you judged me before anything. You didn't even give me a chance to show that I'm not self-centered or that superficial like that. Like, so I just can't date people that, you know, I can't do it. Especially if you lied to me, lied to me, lied to me again, lied to me again. It's like, yeah. So unfortunately, that's what happened with that. But I was like, dang, that's crazy how we always are thinking that we don't have enough. And somebody, I mean, now with all these Facebook quotes and all that stuff, I've seen the quote roaming around something about a poor man's, it's a rich man to somebody else or something like that. Anyways, I gotta go, gotta go. Bye.